And welcome to another episode of the Traveling Groomers Podcast. We actually have some pretty exciting news, which by the time this airs is going to be old news.
I know. It's
but
like
we're really excited about it right at this moment.
I want to say this is breaking news, but seeing as, right in the beginning. Ladies and gents, welcome to episode number 195, recorded on January 4th. And it will be airing on January 18th. So what we have right this second on the 4th is breaking news, and probably not so breaking by the 18th, but we're still excited about it.
We're very excited about it. So we're going to discuss this. Okay.
About the venue.
So the New England grooming show finally is moving. So you have to give credit to, you know what? We've been complaining about this. And Chris, you and I are not the only ones complaining about.
I know.
So, but they listen. All right. And I know that Barkley has been looking for another place for a while because, you know, you might want to compare the Sturbridge Hotel to, I don't know, maybe holding the convention in a burnt out building.
Oh, it's not that bad. I would compare it to a hotel in a Stephen King novel.
Okay.
Where, you know, it still has its charm and nice things are written about it, but you're also looking over your shoulder for ghosts in some of the rooms. Now, let me just also preface this by saying I've not been in a room that had water problems where the floor was constantly damp. So if I had, my opinion would probably be 100% different.
Yeah, your opinion might be different if in the middle of October, you were able to actually close the sliding glass door.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. Now, of course, I still won't be there, but now I can't like make fun of all of you because you know what? Because I was not concerned with, I don't know, like dysentery, bed bugs, cholera, I don't know, the Black Plague, perhaps. So it's being held, drum roll.
It is being held at Mass Mutual in Springfield, Massachusetts, a legit conference center.
Easy to get to. It's like right off of, what is that, 91? It's like right off of 91.
My computer didn't freeze. That was me. That was just
because
me.
I used to go up
I
91 all the time to go see my daughter in New Hampshire. And I would go past that convention center thinking, boy, that's a nice convention center. Too bad the New England show isn't being held there instead. I mean, because there is, the way it's situated, that if you were like taking a curve, I don't know, a little bit too fast, maybe you could like veer off and like land in the convention center. It is right by the highway.
Wait. Is this closer? Because I'm Googling. This actually closer to the Mark Twain house? Because that came up as something to do in the area. And Mindy and I did that 2 years ago, and it was fantastic.
All right. So there's things to do. All right. It's going to be not much of a drive from Bradley Airport.
Is Bradley a regional airport? Because the whole regional airport thing is
not
helpful, but
it's bigger than a regional airport. It's smaller than, and you know what? It's like on the order of like Newark Airport.
Oh, Newark is not a regional airport. No,
it's not. It's not a tiny airport. It's a real airport.
Okay.
And they have hotels, of course, in the area. Springfield, Massachusetts is going to have a lot of choice of hotel.
A lot of stuff to do. A lot of choice of restaurants.
And I think it's probably, you know, it's been a while since I've been in the area, but I think it's probably only a half hour from the airport.
I'm not even Googling that yet. I'm a little bit excited.
So we're very excited. I'm actually now going to be sorry I'm not there.
And
Oh,
there's
wow.
probably some good museums,
Yeah, it's in Springfield,
a
Massachusetts.
lot of historical stuff. Oh,
Yep.
nice.
It's
Nice.
going to be a great location. So kudos to Barclay to moving that.
Yeah. I mean, and it's in state. I don't think it's that far. I got to Google it.
All right. Now, the one thing I'm going to add now, it's moving to a much nicer location. I would expect things to be a little bit more expensive in the area.
Oh, yeah.
However, it's conveniently located to the highway. I mean, you could stay outside of the area and still be convenient to the convention center.
Oh, it's under an hour. It's
There's different ways to get to Springfield.
no, I
Right?
mean from Sturbridge. It's under an hour from Sturbridge. So it's not moving that terrible far.
All right, hold on. Pooh Bear wants to say hello. There's Pooh Bear.
Hey, Pooh the Bear.
Okay. All right. So anyway, kudos to Barclay. So nice that you moved that location. I'm sure most of the attendees will appreciate that.
Yep. I think it's a little closer to me too. Looks like
It
it's
should be, because there's different ways. It's
yeah.
Springfield, there's a lot of ways to get to Springfield. So I would go, being in Danbury, I would cut across 84, shoot up 91. But there's probably another way I can go that might go diagonally, but it won't be a major highway.
It is like right off 91.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, wow, nice. Very, very, very nice. So that, pardon me, that is super exciting.
Yeah.
Super exciting. So lots of new things and changes this year. So we're really going to see how the change in venue affects things. Hopefully everything will be positive. I always have faith that it will be.
Well, people will complain because they like to complain.
Mm-hmm.
So there will always be those who will, have a problem with it for whatever reason. Okay. But it also will give that show an opportunity to grow, because you couldn't grow at Sturbridge.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of elbow room. There wasn't a lot of elbow room.
So a convention center is going to give them the more elbow room. It's why the Atlanta Pet Fair moved from the Hilton to the Georgia Convention Center.
Yeah.
It gives them room to grow.
The last year at the Hilton, and I know they had a really good relationship with it and whatever, but the last year at the Hilton, it was so packed. The Atlanta Pet Fair. They closed the restaurant. They stuffed vendors in the restaurant area,
it was.
and in little corners and cubby holes, and it was, you couldn't even find them.
Yeah, it was really difficult to navigate at the Hilton. And I understand they did have a really good relationship. So classrooms were all over the place. Vendors were all over the place, and probably made it hard for security trying to, secure the place. Yeah. The one thing I will say, for those who have been to the Hilton, you know what I'm talking about. The elevators.
Oh.
You literally can get car sick on those elevators.
Yeah.
When you go on one floor and you press, like, I don't know, going up about 12 floors, and there's like no stops in between, that thing literally shot you up to the 12th floor. They should have installed like barf bags.
Better handles and barf bags.
Yeah. But it was pet friendly. And they were still using that hotel as a pet friendly hotel up until, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then they moved over to the Indigo in Atlanta. um, which was out in like downtown Atlanta. Some people didn't like it because it was not probably the best neighborhood, but they had some awesome restaurants there, Chris. Oh my God.
Oh, nice.
Really great restaurants. So
Very,
anyway,
very nice.
I liked it. So anyway, let's take a commercial break and then we can get to like the topic that we actually wanted to talk about.
Okay, that was good. We're back.
Okay, yeah. It's still on my to-do list to make up those little cards with like the numbers on them.
Well, that's okay. I have you have another couple of weeks, and I have alternate ways to do it because I am still working on getting something hooked up. But I have sitting in front of me.
Yeah.
At my desk, Mary. I'm petting it right now.
I am sure you're petting it. So I made a promise to Chris that when she got her soundboard, I would drop the F-bomb. So if you're watching this on YouTube, she is literally caressing this thing because she tried. How long were you trying, Chris?
Oh, I don't know. It got to be, it has to have been a year. It has to be a year now.
It's going to be at least a year. And it's been difficult, you know, and normally, you know, when I just don't drop F-bombs willy-nilly.
And this actually, go ahead. Because I'm going to wrangle this right back to topic because this seems like a digression, but it's absolutely not.
So when I made the promise, all right, it honestly and truly, Chris, it's gotten a little old to be.
It has, yeah.
So but it's been fun. Okay.
But it's a little old for you now. Well, that's all right. I have some leads. Now, if I really, really wanted to take the time, I could check 1 or 2 episodes.
Yes. And you know what? And I'm surprised you did it. And I'm thinking, boy, I hope she doesn't check. I know there's at least 2 episodes in which I did drop the F-bomb.
Ain't nobody got time for that shit, Mary. Ain't nobody got time.
Could if she really wanted to. Instead, she spent her time trying to trick me.
Because that was more fun for me. That was fun for me.
Okay. Into trying to get him. And she would ever so
I purchased spy equipment.
I know she did. Okay. But anyway, there's 2 episodes in which I dropped. I believe they are episode 19 and 34.
Either 34 or 35. One of those.
One of those.
By the way, Mary, I want to share this with our YouTube viewers, and for non-YouTube, there's glare. You can't see it now. For non-YouTube, I'll just tell the story. So this is a new mug that my friend brought me when she visited early December. And she gave it to me. And as I'm opening up the box, I got to the point where I could just see that it's a mug. And I got excited because I love mugs. And what goes through my head is, oh, great. I'm going to have a mug that someone gifted me that doesn't have a cuss word on it, because this person is like really straight laced. She's like very straight edge, and her teenage son was with her. So I'm like, this is not going to have a cuss word on it. And then if you can read what it says, or if it's backwards,
it says, take no shit.
It says, take no shit. So I started laughing hysterically because any mug that was gifted to me has a cuss word on it. And I find that highly appropriate and hysterical.
Okay.
Hysterical. But how this relates to today's topic, because I promised I would wrangle it back to topic, is today we are talking about professionalism and what that means for you, for your salon, for your business, and for the grooming industry. And how we speak to our customers can be our first way to show that we're professionals, because a lot of times, especially if you get a new client, your first interaction with them is often a phone call. So It's how are you answering your phone? Are you letting it go to voicemail because you're having a stressful day and you have a dog on the table and you don't want to answer the phone? Yes. What? That may not be professional.
All right. And so I'm going to add something to this. Okay. Answering phones throughout the day, you really need to reconsider that practice, right?
Yeah.
Because it is time consuming, because you got to stop what you're doing and answer the phone. Now, if you have a receptionist, that's their job. That's what they do. All right. But if you have a groomer, all right, and the groomer's grooming, right? Is she supposed to stop? He's supposed to stop and answer the phone. And if they do, they have to then take the pet off the table. They have to walk over to wherever the phone is, answer the phone. There's an appointment book. You got to stop what they're doing. All right. And see, the problem with that is that when you stop and start, it takes a while for your brain to like re-engage into the activity you were just doing. All right.
Yeah.
So there's a slowdown. Right. So instead of finishing that dog in 45 minutes, that dog is now taking you an hour because you had to stop and answer the phones. It is a much better use of your time is to, on your answer machine, leave a specific time that phone calls are returned. And you may want to include a couple of things that might preclude you not having to return your phone call. All right. We return phone calls between this time and this time. We are only accepting pets under 25 pounds. Please leave a description of your pet. So you have that. And they're like, hey, I have a golden retriever. You know that dog is not 25 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can't follow instructions. OMG.
Yeah. You can't follow instructions, then if they're not listening to your instructions, then what else are they not going to listen to or think they don't have to listen to it because they're special? All right.
Mm-hmm.
And don't have to groom every single pet that calls. That person that just because you didn't answer the phone, they're going to go someplace else. That's not a loyal customer. That's a person who's either price shopping or they're looking for whoever could get their dog in like right now because all of a sudden they notice their pet is disgusting and probably has been disgusting for a while, but you know what? They just noticed it. Right. So decide who it is you want for your clients and set your rules and your outgoing message to kind of reflect that. I took a client in. All right. My message was clear. I was not taking in new clients. Okay. And so this woman leaves me a message about her evil Chihuahua, and her evil Chihuahua was banned from yet another grooming shop. She was running out of locations and she knew I was not taking in new clients, but maybe I could recommend a place for her because she tried them all. She says, maybe I'm missing someone. Okay.
And you're like, I got to see this dog.
And I'm like, well, what other kind of Chihuahua is there?
They're angels.
Oh, please.
They're all, listen. They're all angels. Some of them are just fallen angels.
Okay.
They're still angels.
I will give you that. But the time she left that message, I had a Chihuahua named Baby, AKA Grumpy Boy. So I knew that's what we call them, Grumpy.
Aww.
So yeah, I said, like, well, what other kind of Chihuahuas are there? So I took her on because you know what? She listened to my message. And that meant a whole lot to me. Plus she made me laugh. So that was another reason. Make me laugh and I'm more likely to get you in on almost anything.
I told you about the Chihuahua that would board at this place I worked once, and the dog would stay in the grooming room because there was like a double kennel.
Yeah, so this is the dog that only loved you?
The dog that only loved me. Let me clarify this by saying I did not want Princess's owner to die. I did not. I wanted her to be fine. But she was a little old lady. And I was like, if she pops off, I want this dog. I want this dog. She eventually started tolerating Cam. Like she let him wash her. if I got her out of the crate and put her in the tub. I had to come in on my days off to feed her and to let her run around a little bit. And not because I tried really hard or, gave her lots of cookies. I was just there long enough because that crate was right next to my grooming table. Yeah, Chihuahuas they're special.
They're special. And they tend to be one, sometimes two people dogs. And that's about it.
Yeah.
So my husband, he loved my husband. I mean, the sun rose and set on him. When Nesta would come home, he'd get the happy dance. Baby would be there dancing because Nesta was coming home. All right. I was tolerated. It is sort of like the relationship I have with Pooh Bear here.
Okay? Yeah.
If I'm not around, who will tolerate Ernesto? All right. But if I'm anywhere in that he can see me, he's snoring right now in case you can't hear him.
I can't. I want to. Put the mic up by him. I want to hear him snore. I'm a weirdo.
Well, you woke him up.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to try to get the mic there later.
We'll sneak there later.
We'll sneak the snore in later.
But yes, your message can cut down a lot on what you need to call back and when. Although my message says I'm not taking new clients, and I got a referral from like a friend of a friend of a relative or something from a current client, like his ex-brother. I don't remember what the relation is, but it's another Black Russian Terrier.
Good luck.
Oh, its picture already made the class that's coming up. That will have just passed after when this episode airs, but its picture already made the class. This dog was so sweet. I was almost done grooming it, and I took the lead off its head just to touch up a little stuff there, and he shifted so like his back legs went off the table, but he's so big the table wasn't high, so he's just standing there. He's like, oh, she didn't say I could get off the table, but so I have a picture of him with his front legs still draped on the table, just standing on the ground, because he knew I didn't let him off, but he semi-slipped off. And I'm like, it was the funniest thing. He's just sitting there like, oh, I wasn't supposed to go anywhere. Are we okay? Is this good? I'll stay here. Zero regrets.
Okay, so I timed it. When is this supposed to air? What day?
This airs on the 18th, so the recordings might still be available.
All right, so yeah, so for the Breed Summit, which is coming up this weekend, which is actually the 8th and 9th.
8th and 9th.
All right, so it'll be over with. So if you purchase it individually, just the summit, then you have 3 weeks to watch the recordings. And if you have a membership, you have 6. So on the 24th, yeah, it should still be up for either or.
Now,
here's the thing: if you haven't already purchased it, you can't buy it individually once the summit is over.
Ooh.
Yeah. You could only get a membership to watch it.
Oh, wow. Okay, that was my next question. But if you are not a member and a summit passed and you're like, damn it, I've been meaning to sign up and I wanted to see that membership. Can you sign up? Or I wanted to see that summit. Can you then sign up and grab the one you just missed?
Yeah, because it'll be up 6 weeks for members. So as long as you sign up within that 6-week period.
Okay. All right, so guys, this is your cue if you want to hear more Black Russian Terrier stories, and there's some good ones on there. There's like Kerry Blues and Bijans and other fun stuff on that summit. So if you've been meaning to,
No Bichon. I don't think there's
no
a Bichon.
Bichon. I know
No,
there's a Kerry.
there's a Kerry. There's, oh no, now I have to go over and go see. Scott is doing something on hand stripping.
Yep.
There, Bobby Bauer is doing something on brachiocephalic breeds.
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Nice.
Angie is doing something on cats. Melissa is doing both feline anatomy and physiology and canine anatomy and physiology. You're doing the Black Russian Terrier, and Terry DiMarino is doing camouflage grooming. So, and Bobby's class is a 2-hour class. Scott's class is a 2-hour class. Everything else is an hour class.
Excellent. I think we should take our second commercial break, and then I have 2 digressions and right back on topic.
Okay.
No, can't hear him snore. Can't hear him snore.
Literally softened up his snoring when I
put when you got the mic in his face.
Yeah. So I think he's paying attention to it. It's like, no, you will not catch me snoring. I don't know what you're talking about.
And fun fact, did you know that while Salem, Massachusetts is famous for its witch trials, Springfield had some witch trials going on 50 years before those in Salem?
Did not know that.
It was basically adults behaving badly. But yeah. Anyway, that corrective grooming class, that's exciting. I have to make sure I catch that.
I've taken that class with Terry before. It's a really good class.
I got minorly pearl clutchy today at my first client's house. And I think I was just had a shitty mood today. I was just not, because she gets there and she's got first of all, it is not a Bichon. I had a brain fog and accidentally called her a Bichon. She is a Bolognese. Wow. For those of you not on YouTube, Mary's eyes just rolled out her head. Anyway, the dog is a Bolognese. Don't trim her like a Bichon. Oh, okay, it's a messy Bichon. Okay, fine. I can make a messy Bichon. Anyway, she said, she's a little bow-legged. Can you make it look like her legs are straight? What I didn't say, and this brings it back to professionalism, what I wanted to say was, you mean like I've been doing all the years I've been grooming her? You mean like I do? Is that what you mean? But I didn't. I said, yeah, sure. And we put her on the table and looked, and I pointed out, and by the way, I believe she's thinking that the arthritis is causing her legs to bow more. And I'm pretty sure her legs have always been like that. And that's what's causing the arthritis. But, I didn't even get into it right then because I didn't trust myself to be professional because I was just in some kind of snit today. And I showed her, because the leg is really bowed. Her left leg is like a C. And I showed her how, you see how it's really short on this side and really long on this side to fill out where it goes whoop. And the reason it looks funny now is it's been over 6 weeks and she's brushed out here, but not here. So it looks like she's got a cuff and it's like, she just needs, I don't know, grooming.
Sort of what you're there for.
Uh-huh. But I didn't. I just said, well, a lot of she just needs to be groomed and freshened up. And okay, I will, I'll tighten that back up. But I showed her that yes, this is what I've been doing. And I have been doing the corrective grooming on this dog's legs. And her elbow. Okay, so I'll take her a little bit tighter there. So I know she stretches to at least 6 weeks. And this time went a little bit longer. So yeah, I just took it slightly tighter.
Okay.
But still corrected grooming. There have been times that I've said some things to customers that I'm glad I said with a smile, like, haha, this is a joke, because it probably wasn't the most professional thing. And I talk about in my classes that when you are speaking to customers, sometimes you have to have a good relationship with them, and you have to use all of the ways of communicating, and you have to use body language and tone and facial features to get away with saying things. And then you have to know which clients you can get away with saying.
Yep.
So, Mary, what's the least professional thing you have said to a client? Something that like flew out of your mouth. I know there's got to be some.
Oh yeah, there is. The least professional thing. The least. Okay. And it may, what, if I sit and I think about it, I've been grooming for over 20 years. I'm sure there's more than one. Okay. Was when somebody used the fact that their mother died twice to explain why they weren't home. And when I called back, and again, not being that total asshole, all right, I verified that the fact that his mother did not die and was still alive and kicking. When I called back, I said, I am so sorry your mother died again. However, you need to find another groomer. I was really mad, all right, that he used that excuse. There were so many other things that he could have said that, maybe he would have gotten away with him not being home. He could have used anything.
And to me, that's like wishing bad things on your mother. Like my mother and I can have our issues because we're a mother-daughter duo, and that happens. But I would never wish ill on her by that. That's like really bad luck.
Yeah.
And
so he got fired. And I'm sure if I could think about this, probably a couple others less than professional. All right. The other one that like comes to mind, and I'm not even sure it was totally unprofessional, but preface it with this woman in this really expensive community literally jumps in front of my van. I had to slam on the brakes. Okay. She waved me down. All right. Jumped in front of the van. I mean, I could have hit her. Okay. But there's like speed bumps galore in that particular community. So you never get up enough speed to do any real damage anyway.
So fortunately you were going like 10 miles an hour. So you were good.
So she wants to book for her 4 dogs. Okay. So I'm like, okay, get the book out. I schedule her, come back and to groom the dogs. And she's not home. The housekeeper is like, yeah, she changed her mind. 4 dogs. I'm like, okay. Okay. Now let's fast forward a couple of years. And my message is stating that I'm not taking any new clients. If you are a current client, you can leave a message. Okay. Which was really nice because, if you're not a current client, I'm not going to return your phone call. It literally says current clients only. Anyway, so this guy calls up and he goes, I think I'm a current client. You groomed my mother's dogs. And then he gives the name. And I recognize the name immediately because...
Oh, no. Because she just stiffed you out of a day's pay. You don't forget that anytime soon.
No, So I call because now I'm gonna bust chops. All right. At least get a story out of this. So I call him back and I go, yeah, you mean the woman who jumped in front of my van, booked 4 dogs, and then changed her mind without telling me. I didn't know that till I got to her house after scheduling for 4 dogs. And he goes, yeah, that sounds like my mother. I go, well, this is what makes you a current client. You pay for those 4 appointments. Then I'll consider you a current client.
Now, what would be really unprofessional, but I can't say not a little bit awesome, bad, it would be wrong. It would be wrong. Is if he did do that and he paid for those missed appointments and booked another appointment, and then you canceled that morning and said you changed your mind.
No, I wouldn't have done
I mean,
that.
that would be evil. That would be unprofessional and evil.
That would be so unprofessional. That would, yeah. No, if he would have paid for his, and she booked for 2 large dogs and 2 small dogs, 2 small groom dogs.
So that was 90% of your day, if not your day.
Yeah. That was a lot of money. All right. Yeah. So no, if he would have paid for those appointments, and what I would have done, it would have been at today's rates, at the current rates, not at the rate. And then I would have booked and I would have groomed whatever dog he had. Okay, one other time. Now that I'm sitting there and I'm thinking less than professional. So this woman who was a neighbor of one of a really, really good client, she books an appointment for her puppy Springer. All right. And I groomed the dog and she wasn't happy. And apparently she booked appointments with every other groomer and she wasn't happy. She probably went through, she called again. The dog was like 2 years old now. Okay. So the dog had made the rounds of every single groomer she was unhappy with. Mm-hmm. Okay. So she booked and she tried to book an appointment with me. And I just flat out told her that you weren't happy with what I did 2 years ago. What do you think is going to be better this time around? I wish you well finding another groomer. Yeah. And I don't think that is like totally unprofessional. I think it kind of skirts the issues, skirts the sidelines a little bit, but I wouldn't think that that is like totally unprofessional.
Oh, I did one. And I have 0 regrets about it. I know it was unprofessional, 0 regrets. I was working at one of the big box stores. It was December 23rd, between 1:30 and 3:30 in the afternoon. It was late in the day on the 23rd of December. And somebody came in asking if they could get a bath, and they did have a short-haired bath dog, but they came in then asking, "Oh, can I get an appointment for today for my dog to get a bath?" And I went, like I legit pointed. I pointed and laughed, like cackled at her. And she got all like, well, you can't, it doesn't never hurts to ask. I'm just asking. I'm like, I'm sorry, we're booked. And I was still laughing. And that was so unprofessional of me.
Yeah, I think that tops any of mine, Chris.
That's really bad. Guys, don't do that. But at the same time, I maybe one day I'll be adult enough to regret that. But it was wrong, and I can't even regret it, Mary, because it made me feel better. And honestly, doing it just that once, I remember that every holiday season. That was a solid 7 years ago. It was a while ago. And I think of it every holiday season, and it amuses me enough to where I don't do that nonsense again.
Okay, but you know what? You have that memory. Isn't that awesome?
Yes, I have that memory. And now you have that picture in your head of me in a box store with my hair up in some kind of ponytail, looking disheveled, laughing and pointing in someone's face. So run that clip in your head so you don't do it. That is how I am helping.
Okay, so let's take the third commercial break.
I'm keeping track this time.
That's awesome. I'm glad you are.
I'm out of tea. All right, but we're back. That was a really quick one. That's me counting on me to actually listen to this and go through properly. So we've talked about how not to talk to our customers. What about, we didn't talk a lot about how to talk to our customers. Maybe we'll get back to that. But I want to touch on dress and attire.
Okay.
Because my husband and I were actually talking about this recently, and I reached out. I need to get Melissa Verplank on here as a guest, because I don't think she realized how much she influenced my early grooming life. But back when I first started going to trade show, because the only one I went to was Intergroom, because that was my local show. And my husband worked with me. I brought him with me and I said, all of these classes look awesome. I want to take, and I said, you take, and I listed all the business classes, like all the non how to do this type of grooming classes. And I took all of the grooming classes. So I'm like, I feel like we made a great team. And he went from one class where one person said, well, you can't wear makeup. You know, you can't wear makeup when you groom, so you have to do other XYZ, to Melissa Verplank's class, where she talked about, yes, if you enjoy wearing makeup, yes, you can wear makeup. You can do this. And she talked about mirroring the clients you want. And I think that's really, really important, because it's a combination of, if you're mobile, the areas you go in, the areas you service, and your vibe. Now we call it your vibing, where you want to, maybe you do want to dress as artistically and as quote unquote crazy as you like, because those are the clients you want. Maybe you know that business-wise, the most affluent area is a little stodgy. So have your hair whatever color you want and dress very professionally. But however you present yourself, in a lot of ways, that's going to be the type of client you attract.
Okay. So I had a client, a lot of my clients, we had a very, very informal, casual relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm getting to someone's house at 8:00 in the morning, and in particular, this would be Renee, she'd be there in her bathrobe and her hair in a curlers, and she'd be making coffee for us, and we'd be sitting down and chit-chatting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And my hair would be back in a ponytail, and I would be wearing my grooming uniform. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's fast forward. We're at the movie theater. She's standing right in front of me. Okay. And she's looking at me, and I'm looking at her. Okay. And then there was that instant recognition there. Okay. But it took us a couple of minutes. Okay. Because my hair was down, I was wearing casual clothes. She was made up. She looked awesome. Her hair was done. Her makeup was on point. And I'm like,
you're used to bathrobe and curlers.
And I'm like, damn, Renee, you clean up really well.
I've had, and I still wear, like, depending if I get up early enough, I'll still wear a little bit of makeup to work, and I'll still, I'll have on earrings, but my hair is either back or up because I have a lot of it. But I have had clients run into me outside of work, and just because I'm not wearing my grooming gear, they'll be looking right at me or talking to me and not know who I am. The one story with that, and this was extenuating circumstances, the guy wasn't fully in altogether, but basically I groomed this customer. I groomed her dog for a very long time. And then her son was bringing in the dog. And because she wasn't, doing as well. And this was actually the day of her memorial service. Like, the client passed. The son brought the dog in that morning, like that day. I groomed the dog. I took a half day. I'm there at the funeral home, and they have the picture boards up. And I'm looking at pictures of the client with a different collie. And I'm standing right next to him chatting. And I'm like, that's not Linus, is it? That looks like a different. Oh no, Linus is and he starts telling me about Linus. And I'm like, oh, I know. It's Chris. I just groomed him this morning. Like, he saw me 4 hours prior. And I just did like a quick change in a bathroom. And I had on a dress and a shawl, and my hair was down. And he did not. Now, okay, it was his mother's funeral. Super extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, cut the guy some slack.
I cut him a ton of slack on that one. I was still a little. There has to be one funny thing at a funeral. Every funeral, there has to be one kind of funny story.
I could tell a non-funny story that could have been funny, depending on your perspective.
Okay.
All right. So I'm at my father's funeral.
Okay. I have one about my father's funeral too. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. And my brothers are there with their 2 young sons, and the kids are, I don't know, 4 or 5-ish. All right. And the parents are just letting them run amok. I mean, they're running around the funeral room. I thought at one point they were going to knock the casket over.
Well, that's horrific.
Yeah. And neither my brothers or their wives were doing anything to control these kids. And then one of the kids, and I was just sitting there and I was just watching. Okay. One of the kids is going to stick his finger in a socket.
Did you let him?
I was not doing anything because I thought maybe it might have quieted him down a little bit. But Mom apparently was paying attention and scooped him up before he stuck his finger in the socket.
I'm not going to lie. I might have just watched too. And I do love kids, but I don't love bad parents.
This kid should not have been at the funeral.
Okay. So at my dad's funeral, so at the viewing the night before, I noticed the funeral home, and I forget if I told the story on air or not before. I noticed the funeral home had smelling salts. That's what it was, Mary. They had smelling salts out at the little tables by the tissues in there, the calendars with the funeral home name on it, and it had printed. And I remember looking at one and going, I need to grab one and put one of those in my pocket, because my dad was in his 90s when he died. So he was a couple different generations. So I'm like, this is something from my dad's generation. You know, smelling salts, it's old fashioned. I don't know why it struck me as something I would like to have to go, and interesting. So at the end of the night, I went to grab one and there were none. They were gone. None to be found anywhere. And I didn't even think of asking the guy at the funeral home because it wasn't that big a deal. Like, it wasn't that important. So the next day, we're at the grave. My two sisters are there. One of them wanted us to do this thing with roses, and I'm like, no, that's all you two. We had a different relationship. So my one sister goes to put the rose on the casket and bends over a little bit. And from her overstuffed coat pockets, calendars start falling out from the funeral home, like 5 smelling salts start falling, and just crap she stole starts falling out of her coat pockets. And I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. There's always, I don't know, there's always comic relief. To me, maybe I just have a twisted sense of humor. And I have to find something to laugh at or I go insane. I don't know. Mary's just looking at me like, you're the Joker, Chris. You are one chemical vat away from becoming the Joker.
I was watching a 4-year-old stick his finger in a socket.
Well, okay, that's true. You were like, ooh, this could be interesting. I wonder what his hair is going to do. All right. So we all have our non-professional moments, but honestly, wrangle back the topic. I've seen groomers show up to work. I've worked with someone who did this, showed up to work in her pajama bottoms and slippers. I don't understand that. I am old school enough that if you're outside of your house in pajamas and slippers, you better either be walking a dog that's got to pee right this goddamn second, or getting the mail, like maybe getting the paper. But even then, close your robe. Tony Soprano, I'm looking at you. That bothered me when I was watching The Sopranos. Going down to get the mail in boxers with his robe open. Ew. Anyway. So what are some things, Mary? Sorry, soapbox apparently I forgot was there. Fell in front of me. So what are some things, Mary, that are super important in terms of dress, like simple things we can do for how we dress to be both comfortable, functional, and still look professional?
Okay. So I did groom in jeans and shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I also had skirts, which I really like. And I know the younger generation is like, what? Skirts are awesome. So skirts look like a skirt, but they're really shorts.
Yeah.
So now I understand I was probably 50-ish at the time. I had one of my clients actually call me cute because of the skirts. And I'm like, cute is probably not the word that.
Well, it's basically like a tennis skirt.
Yeah, it's basically a tennis
skirt. Basically like a tennis skirt. I actually wear those a lot during the summer because I found ones in that material that polyester is such a tricky material.
Yeah, Costco,
it's
right?
Such a tricky. No, it wasn't. I got to look at Costco. No, Amazon. But it was
I got a black and a purple one from Costco.
Ew.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to find just the right amount of stretch, and it has pockets, and hair doesn't stick too bad.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And talk about mirroring clients. So many of my clients, I work in a very affluent neighborhood. They go play tennis So they wear the little tennis skirts, but it's always black or purple with my hot pink top. So it's still in my uniform colors.
Yeah. And a nice grooming smock. So, yes. It was really nice, especially over the last several years. We have a lot of options for some really nice stuff.
Yeah, we do.
So, okay, I'm trying to do brands. So, of course, there was Leal's before she sold it.
Retro stylist wear.
That's it. Retro stylist wear. Had some really cute tops. Then there is Angels
Grooming Apparel, which is the one I like.
Really nice. And they just look, and I'm sure there's other brands. Okay.
Oh, my jacket from Angels Grooming Apparel, when I go shopping or run errands after work, I get compliments on it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's a nice jacket. I'm like, thanks. It's my work clothes.
I've had stuff embroidered, which is really not all that expensive. You don't have to send it out. There's a lot of, like here in Squim, I have a seamstress, and she does all that sort of stuff. Really inexpensive to put the name of your business onto your smock. So even if it's a plain smock, and putting your business name and your logo on it really adds a lot to that, and that's fairly inexpensive.
Mm-hmm. And Mary, number 200 on my to-do list of projects, I have an idea for a grooming smock that I haven't fully fleshed out yet. I haven't found the right person. We've had this conversation. I haven't found the right person to partner with, because I definitely need a partner on this, and someone who knows sewing more than me. Like
when we go off air, I'm going to throw 2 names at you.
Okay. I may have already
I'm not going to mention on air because I don't want to put them on the spot.
Yeah. We're not having major secrets from y'all. We're just trying not to be mean to people.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we need another? We need 2 more commercial breaks.
That's right.
So let's take number 4 right now. So I have on my list to talk about tattoos and purple hair. Back in the day, and my mother still is amazed at professionals with tattoos. It's not like it used to be. Number one, we are creative people, and many of our clients see us as creative people. So I feel that groomers, if we do hit all the other professional benchmarks, we can pull off rainbow hair and tattoos all day, every day, because even if it's not their style, they're like, oh, look, she's so creative. I love it. It's just nice.
So I was having a conversation with an educator in another field.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And she was making mention about my purple hair, because there is no such thing as purple hair in her industry. It is natural color or dyed blonde. That's it.
What industry? Now I got to know.
No, I'm not gonna make any mention.
Okay.
But that's just the way it is. She goes, well, I bet, if somebody has a question, you're easy to spot at a conference. And I laughed. He says, yeah, no. You really think so? No. The only thing that's going to make me stand out with purple hair at a conference is the fact that I'm wearing my tiara. That's what might make me stand out, but not too much else. It's not the purple hair that is going to make it. You know what? So if you're looking for me at a trade show and you're looking for the people with the purple hair, you might be going through a couple of people before you find me.
Yeah. I think 3 different trade shows, I have pictures of Melissa Jepson with rainbow hair with a dog that matched her hair. Not her dog. None of them were her dogs. It's always her kissing a random attendee dog that just matched her hair perfectly. It was glorious. But that leads me to the most important part and the most important aspect, and that is your attitude. That is how you hold yourself and how you carry yourself and how you speak confidently from a place of knowledge, because that is who you are. You are a professional. And if in something as simple as whether or not a dog needs to be shaved down, how you say it, how you present that matters a lot. If you're like, well, I may have to shave him today. Oh, did your voice go up? Do you doubt whether you have to shave him? Because
Yeah.
you know what? There's a 90% chance that if you're saying that, you already know that you're going to have to shave that dog. And what you're doing then is undermining your own credibility, because you gave that customer hope.
Yep.
When you know that you're really not gonna, or you know that the chances of doing that are very slim. And this is one of those situations where you can do that, but you have to do it in the correct direction.
Yeah. So I have a client and her dog, and she was an older woman, and they were having trouble maintaining their dog. So I get there one time and the dog, it's a mess. Okay. And I'm like, okay, we need to, first of all, normally now go shorter, but your dog's going to be naked. There's no other word to use. Your dog is going to be naked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and that's the word I use. Not that I'm going to try. Your dog is going to be naked. So I get the dog in the tub and I'm able to, and I'm not going to get into like wet shaving or anything like that, but I was able to get a 5 through the coat while it was wet. Okay. So by the time it dried, I was able to finish it up with a 4-blade. Okay. So they were expecting naked, but they got a little hair on it. All right. And now all of a sudden I'm the greatest groomer in the world. We ran into them in the supermarket. I was with my husband. And they literally pulled my husband to the side. They were an older couple and they wagged their fingers at him and said, your wife is a miracle worker. Yeah. She's so awesome. We never hear of you mistreating her. And because the husband was like a bear. My husband's a bear too. Okay. He says, we will have words if we hear any nonsense from you. We just want to be really clear on that. Your wife is phenomenal. And off they went shopping. You know?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Along the lines of everything I needed to know about life, I learned from Star Trek. Scotty always tells the captain there's no way he can do it. And if he can do it, it's going to take 6 hours. And the captain's like, I need it in 30 minutes. And Scotty's like, you cannot change the laws of physics. That's impossible. I can't do it. And then he's like, oh, I can totally do that shit. And he pulls something out of his ass because he is a great engineer. And then he looks amazing. But if you leave them with hope and you know you're going to, or you know you're just going to have to call them, then you decrease how you look in their eyes. So yeah, under promise, over deliver.
Yep.
Is the businessy professional way to say, be like Scotty.
Yeah. Scotty School of Business.
Now I have Scotty Doesn't Know stuck in my head. Oh, different Scotty. Okay. Different Scotty, but I don't know why that song popped into my head. And listeners, all right, comment on the under this episode. If you know the song I'm talking about, it is from the best bad movie ever.
Okay, just so that you know, the last episode that we did with Judy Cantu Thacker, played a song in there
Yeah.
So I uploaded the video to YouTube.
And they shut it down.
No, they did not.
Oh, okay.
Copyright notice on it.
Oh, oopsies.
However, it's there's a copyright notice on here. However, the owner of the song says it's okay.
Privacy is cool like that.
So YouTube is like being like really gracious. And I guess that's another example of being like professional. Like they know the song is in the public domain or whatever. And so they don't have, so they know there's not a copyright claim on it, but they're going to put copyright claim and then go, what? We're going to be really cool about this stuff. Don't worry about it.
Now, different groups are different ways. That's Primus. They probably went, whatever. These chicks aren't making money off of it. I'm sure if I like used it in a commercial that I aired during the Super Bowl, that would be a different story.
That would be a totally different story.
However, God forbid I ever do that with a Metallica song. Lars himself will knock on my goddamn door and ask for money. Metallica don't play that shit. They don't. So you have to also know what you can do. I need a new camera, Mary, if we're going on. I'm just seeing myself go in and out of focus because it's moving. Damn it. Sorry. My mind did a mental squirrel happened.
All right. So he's sound asleep again. And his head is out of my sweatshirt because Ernesto dared to open up the door to let Cecil in. So now, even though he's asleep because he's tired, all right, he still is on alert. He's trying to be on alert, in case Ernesto comes back again.
Right. Oh.
All right. Do you want to take the last commercial?
And we will take our last commercial break.
All right, so go ahead, Chris.
Well, I feel we usually try to wrap up with, a funny story or whatever, but I think we digressed pretty hard mid-episode. So I want to bring it back and ask, do you think there's such a thing as can you be too professional?
No, I think maybe not the word being too professional. I think maybe you can be too by the books.
Yes.
I think that might be a better way to phrase that.
You can be too by the book because you need to know when to break or to bend the rules. Absolutely.
And again, that also goes to the type of client that you want. So part of, as for me personally, what was really important was flexibility. All right. Mm-hmm. So when I first started, I was caring for my father. He had to go to doctor's appointments. And then after that, my husband lost a kidney. So they always needed flexibility because there was always doctor's appointments. But I got used to that. And you know what? I really enjoyed, having flexibility, knowing that, you know what? Let's go away for a couple of days. Don't worry about my schedule. We're fine. I don't have to rearrange anyone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoyed that flexibility, but that flexibility went both ways. All right. So for example, I would have client contact me and saying, hey, I got an appointment on Tuesday. Something just came up. Can you move me to like Friday or Saturday? And I'm like, maybe. And then I would call up some of my appointments on Friday and Saturday and say, hey, listen, I have someone who needs to move to Tuesday. Can you do it? All right. Very flexible people. All right. Then there were like last minute things. Okay. Like for example, rainy season. So thunder showers would be coming in. And for a while there, I had a lot of dogs that were storm phobic. You know what? I could not groom those dogs. All right.
Yeah. Especially in a van, because if it's a heavy rain, it's loud. It can get loud in there.
It's not good for anybody. All right. Have a dog that's stressed out. All right. Behavior is going to be off. And sometimes And I had Ricky was storm phobic. I always knew it was coming because he would get antsy beforehand. So that so that period of time before the storm is even there, they're not right.
Yeah.
So there was that flexibility there with saying, hey, storm's coming in. I don't think we can groom my dog. And I'm like, no, we can't groom your dog. So I'm not going to charge no-show fees or last minute cancellation fees because of that. And by the same token, all right, I would have a dog that was storm phobic. And if my husband wasn't home because he was working, that means I had to go home and be with this dog, because otherwise he would like destroy the entire house. And believe me, we tried everything. All right. That poor dog had a thunder jacket, the happy hoodie, was on all sorts of meds. And if we didn't time things just right with that, it did nothing. But anyway, so for me, having flexibility, and that flexibility did go both directions. However, that didn't mean somebody could consistently reschedule on me because of something stupid.
Yeah.
So there's that fine line. All right.
Yeah.
But, again, I wanted clients who were flexible, and my clients wanted a groomer that was flexible. So it's like I said, things go in both directions.
Yeah, they do. But, and you're right. It's a really fine line that you have to walk. And it's, to me, when you get to the point where you're annoyed every time you see that client in the book,
that's a whole other,
that's a whole nother topic. If they're pulling stuff, if they're being, if every appointment they got to change, then it gets to be an issue.
But if what you want is consistency, and that's the clients that you want are those that are consistent who don't do that, then that's the clients that you get. And you don't put up with the ones that, always that need that flexibility. Right. Some ways we got around the flexibility issue is I was mobile. Give me the code to your garage.
Yeah. Garage codes are beautiful, beautiful things.
Beautiful things.
Oof. Yeah.
And before garage codes were a thing, keys.
I have one set of keys because they don't have a garage. So yeah, I have one set of keys and quite a few garage codes.
Yeah. Sometimes you need the alarm codes for certain clients too. I'm like, you know what? Since I've set the alarm off at your house twice already, maybe you give me the alarm code on top of it.
It's fun when the police shows up.
Yeah, we've had that.
Fun. It's fun when the police shows up. And apparently they're not terribly unused to it, because the one time I had the cops show up, they also asked me to just take the dog to pee before. So I was out with the dog walking it when the cops came, and they're like, dog walker? I'm like, sort of. I'm the groomer, but I had to take it out to pee. They're like, fine. Yeah. And
it depends on the mood, and sometimes it depends on the police officer as well, because not all of them have a sense of humor and think it's annoying that or beneath them that they got to go to a call.
Well, not for nothing. It is a little bit, because that's their job. And that's in case something serious is going on, to keep people from danger. For it to just be a nuisance thing.
Okay. But
it would annoy me a little bit as a cop.
But when you are parked in someone's driveway with big blue lettering that says positively pretty mobile grooming.
Yeah.
And you have the dogs. Okay.
Yeah.
That might be a clue that I am there for legitimate reasons, and I am not going around, I don't know, stealing dirty dogs.
Oh, did I tell you what my one client's landlord did to me the other month, a while ago? So this is my Afghan hound that I'm there every other week. And I pull in to their driveway, and they always tell me exactly where to park because it's like a 3-family house. And it's a really good sized driveway that leads to the back. But, they have to, everyone has their spots. So they tell me where to park. And I pulled in and I saw somebody that I didn't recognize in a pickup truck with like yard equipment. So I figure it's either they hired somebody or it's the landlord there to do maintenance. So before I go into the house, I'm like, all right, let me clean my filter a little bit. Let me, fuss around with my equipment. But I'm there by the hatchback of my SUV, the cargo area. I don't know what you call it, the big opening. And this guy comes back and he's like, this is a private driveway. And I just don't know why I came up with the most probably unprofessional yet Jersey answer, because I was a little like, who are you? I went, yeah, no. Like, yeah, I know it's a private driveway. I was like, oh, do you live here? And at this point, I know he's the landlord. And what I want to say is, why are you asking? I don't live here. You know who the tenants are. And I go, part of a day every other week I do. I'm here for Kira. Okay. We have a big problem with people parking in the driveway. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm there with equipment. If he'd have waited another minute, I would have gone into the house and he would have, okay. I don't know where he thought I was going.
Okay, so on that note.
So see, that's where having a van would have been more identifiable. But anyway, on that note, on that lack of professionalism note, but he wasn't my client and I knew he was a little bit of a jerk. Safe travels, guys.
See you all next week.
Bye.